What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology Daily Devotional, man, and we are going through the book of Exodus. We're in Exodus chapter 2, verses 13 and 14. Exodus chapter 2, verse 13 and 14. This is Trust in Jesus Ministries, where we help you to trust in Jesus more here, man. Whether it's for the first time for salvation, where you finally give your life over to him because you see him as he should be seen, or if it's just every day trying to grow in him because you know you got to trust him more because you already understand how awesome he is. It's just actually doing it, because we some sinful folks sometimes, man, and it's hard to just give over control. But if we give over control to him, man, life is better. And I've seen it. But I've also done the other thing where I'm trying to hold control. So I want to help you guys out where I failed. I want to help you grow. This is Exodus chapter 2, verses 13 and 14 again. If you haven't read it yet, go ahead and stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say. Come back, we're going to answer some questions, because the way that we get to know God and trust him more is by reading in scripture and then asking questions about it so that we can understand it more for ourselves. We can internalize it. I think that's the word that people like to use, internalize it. And so I want to help you guys do that, man. If you've already read it, man, then let's wait no further and let's jump on into it, man. The first question that we ask is this: what is going on in the scripture? Well, earlier in the last episode, we talked about how Moses struck this guy and killed him, man, out of a sense of justice. And then he goes out again, it says a few days later, or 2 days later, something like that. And he goes out and he sees his brothers doing the same thing, man. And he's like, why are you striking your brother, man? Talking to the guy that was in the wrong. Somehow he knew what was happening. He was like, why are you doing this, man? And then the guy, he just wigs out on him. He's like, who made you judge arbitrator over us, brother? He said, you gonna kill us like you killed that Egyptian? Moses got scared when he heard that. He's like, dang, everybody knows about this. He's like, I thought I got away with that, man. And so what is going on? Moses is still doing the thing that he does, which is trying to protect the weak, the helpless. But then he also has something else, a fondness for his brothers, recognizing the need for community in a time where they're already being oppressed. You see, that family aspect thing that I've been talking about a whole lot here, which is being is a underlining measure, underlining understanding of what Moses has been writing. Is family is important, man. And so it's like when we're arguing, we shouldn't be arguing, especially being oppressed by others. We should hold family close. And he's like, dude, don't argue with your brother, man. He's like, don't be striking your brother, man. That is your brother. You're to love him and care for him. And we're going to see that as a characteristic of God as well, as he places it in his law when he says, love your neighbor as yourself. And so Moses has already got these intrinsic values. First off, from his family. And then second off, towards his family. He seeks justice for them. But it's not just towards his family. We're going to see that later, that this is a thing that God has just instilled in him, just a sense of justice and right and good. But here, he wants to make it clear, absolutely clear, that it's your brother, man. You shouldn't be doing that. However, his brothers, the same way that they striking each other, are going to strike against him, talking about, what you talking about, dude? What you saying, dude? So what does this say about God? I think in a descriptive manner, which I'll do a video on that. I don't know if I've explained anything about this, how there are some scriptures that are descriptive in how we should live, and then others are proscriptive and they tell us how to live. But in a description or understanding what's going on in the passage that we're reading, man, is that we should, or God is saying that our family is important, man. Is that family and the brotherhood of each other is important. And we see that later on whenever Jesus says that they should know us by our love for one another. We read through that in John if you were with us. And if not, man, you should check it out. It's good, man. The book of John is a wonderful book on who Jesus is. But in the Old Testament, we see Jesus right here. We see Jesus right here. As Jesus explains what he said later on, and we talked about, it's like they should know us by our love for one another. The Hebrew people should be known for their love for each other, the family that they have, because family is important. And so I think that's what we see about God here, is that he desires the love for one another in the church. Desires the love for one another in the church. what does this say about people? What's it say about mankind? Well, I think in general, I think it says that we are bad to each other. We're bad to each other. Our own brothers, man. Our own brothers. And so we ought not think that when we are oppressed or hurt or broken or arguing that it's anything different from what reality should be. Because that is the plight of man. That's sinful nature in man. But I think it also says what I talked about in the characteristic of God is that he desires for us to love one another as that as Christians, man, that we should be loving one another. We should be desiring for peace between each other, harmony, and a growth that is connected in our foundation as the church, being connected to Jesus. I think that's important, is that we should be loving one another. And then I think one more thing that we could talk about is that we should be standing up or be willing to testify to, or more like be willing to speak to injustices within the family of God, whether it may be taken in the way that this man takes it, where he's like, hey, who made you arbitrate and judge over us? That we still should have the boldness to stand up to injustices within the church. Because I tell you what, it's hard. It is hard. But it is something that must be done. It must be done. So how do we apply these truths to our lives, man? I think recognizing that God seeks to have peace and love between the brethren. As Christians, man, we should be trying to carry that out. And how do we carry it out? That's the question, right? How do we carry it out? It's the way that Moses is doing right now. Confront injustice. Man, we've got to speak up and speak out. Now we do it in grace. Because I don't think that Moses is coming at them in some kind of sharp type of way. I think he's actually asking the question, like, why are you treating your brother like that? He's your brother. Don't you realize the situation that you're in already? And so we must speak to these injustices. We must stand up, open our mouth, because without saying anything, nothing can be changed. And so let's do that today. What is it that you see in the church? What is it that you see in your brothers and sisters that you want to do to be able to bring that peace and that love to that family? That peace and that love to that family. Take that action today. And not only in the family of God, because that is the most important, but also in your own home, in your own family. Where can you seek to bring peace? Where can you seek to bring justice? Where can you seek to bring love and community? I appreciate you guys for listening, man, and I will see you in the next episode.